G'day YouTube land. So today on Garage It Yourself, we're going to be taking a look at how we can save you money on your vehicle restoration or customization project. So let's go take a look how we can do that. Welcome back to Garage It Yourself, everyone. The channel dedicated to the DIY car enthusiast doing a restoration or customization on a budget. So in today's video, I'll be giving out some tips and tricks that I've learned over a lifetime of working on vehicles, whether that be servicing, maintenance, customization or restoration. And I've found 4 key factors in being able to keep yourself within a budget. And those 4 key factors are project management, convenience costs, time versus money, and research. Now, don't be scared off by the term project management. It's really not that scary a thing. Sure, you can spend lots of money on an expensive bit of paper to say you're a project manager, but at the end of the day, everyone really project manages on a daily basis. You have a budget, you go out, you do your shopping, you budget for your holiday, you budget for your rent, you budget for your vehicle licensing, your registration. So it's really not that scary a term, because we'll do it on a daily basis. We just don't realize it. Corporations have just made it into a big word that sounds all fancy. But there's really not that much to it. So anyway, let's take a look at project management first. Project management is nothing more than planning and budgeting. They may use fancy bits of software in the corporations, Microsoft Project being one of the main ones, but at the end of the day, it's nothing more than just a fancy spreadsheet. When you're planning things, it's just blocks built on top of each other. For instance, when you're building a building, well, you can't exactly fit it out with desks and chairs if you haven't put the foundations in. Bit of an exaggeration, but obviously things build on top of each other. And it's the same when you come to doing a vehicle restoration or customization. Say you send your vehicle away for doing sandblasting. Well, if you've got your suspension ready to bolt on one weekend, you can't do that. You don't have the vehicle. So all it really is just you have to sit down and think about how you're going to proceed with your project, so that when it comes to the weekend, which is when most people have time to do these things, you're not left sitting there twiddling your thumbs with nothing to do. But at the same time, it's also a good idea to have a couple of backups in place. So say the sandblasters gets held up, and instead of getting the car back for that weekend, it's not going to be until the weekend after. So you have a backup plan. So that you could say, strip your doors down and rebuild the mechanisms in there, whatever. It's just planning ahead. But it's not just to do with the vehicle and the things that need to be restored or modified on the vehicle. It's also to do with your tooling and consumables. And when I say that, well, I recently went to clean something with my Karcher pressure washer, and I found that one of the rubber O-rings had failed, so I wasn't able to do the work. Now, you'd think you can just go down the shops, probably in the UK, in America you can, and just buy one. Here in Australia, it's basically taken me 2 weeks to get hold of an O-ring just so that I can get my pressure washer working again. So, like I said, you have to plan ahead, not just with the parts of the vehicle, but also with the tools that you're going to be using. Make sure your compressor is oiled up and the air filters are all good. It doesn't take long, but it can really hold you up if you don't pay attention to such things. The second, third and fourth factors on the list are really just components of project management, but they're quite important, so they deserve a separate discussion. So convenience costs. What does that mean? Well, really, take for example, if you want to go buy a chocolate bar at your local 7-Eleven or at the petrol station, it's always going to cost you more than if you had planned ahead and bought them at the supermarket. convenience will always cost you. And in the same way, that's exactly the same for buying consumables when working on cars, parts, you name it. Now, as an example, this is a paint and rust strip disc for your grinder. You're looking at somewhere like $16 or $20 just for one at your local hardware store. I managed to buy 5 online for the same price, and that's delivered. So, like I said, convenience really does cost you. Even if you only get 3 online for the same price, that's still saving you $40. $40 that you could put towards a new grinder or a wing mirror or whatever. Put it in the bank, save it. It's money saved. And if you're thinking, well, that's not supporting your local business, well, I will buy locally. I don't have a problem with that if something is reasonably priced. But at the same time, you have to look into that things such as this. A lot of the time, they're not even made in your country. And the company is saying they're a product of whatever country you are in. But at the end of the day, they're actually made in Taiwan or China, and they're just packaged in your country. So they're not actually manufactured in your country. So don't always take it for gratis that just because it's in the shop that it's come from your country of origin. That's not necessarily the case. It's like I said, convenience costs, and it's one of the really biggest things when it comes to consumables and parts and tooling, that you can really be just throwing your money away instead of by looking around. You can save yourself a lot of money. So then we get on to time versus money. That's pretty self-explanatory. You hear it bandied around all over the place, the Richard rulings and time is money and blah blah blah. But they do have a point. For us people doing things on a DIY basis, our time is free, but how much of that time do you want to give? If something's going to take you 3 weekends to complete, but a service could do it in half a day, it's is that actually worth my money to get it done quicker? And that's what it all comes down to. So time versus money. I have my own sandblaster as an example. It's just a little pop blaster. Sure, I did an entire vehicle. Getting this done, including the floor pan at an industrial place, looking at about $2,500 all up, which is a lot of money. I already have the equipment, but if you put the equipment in plus what I spend on blasting media, you're looking at around $1,500. But I already had the equipment, so to me it was only the blasting media, which worked out I think about $300. Time-wise though, it took me the better part of a week just to do the body, and probably another couple of days to do the floor pan. Because when it comes to doing sandblasting, and especially when you've got a pop blaster, you're not putting out as thick a stream of media as what you would be from an industrial sandblaster. So that's why industrial sandblasting is that much quicker. You also have to think about the cleanup. It takes a lot of time to de-dust and filter out all the large particulates so that your gun doesn't get clogged up all the time. Like I said, time versus money. Which would you rather be doing? Going to the beach with your wife and kids, or spending $2,500 on getting your car sandblasted? Choice is yours on that one. But again, it can really save you money. If you think you can do something yourself and you have the time to, then you really should, because it can be a very big money saver. And then we have the last one on the list, research. Research can really save you a lot of money. With the modernized world that we live in these days, there are so many companies that have an online presence, even here in Australia, where they're all about 20 years behind. But hey, if you sit down and can spend the time to look up and research what you are looking for, you can save yourself a good chunk of cash on that as well, just between vendors. I recently was looking for a beam adjuster, and between the 3 places that I found online in Australia, I was saving myself between $5 and $8. Hey, it's not a lot, but if you manage to do that on like 20 items, it does become a lot. And that's the thing, like it all adds up. So don't just think of it as in like, oh, it's only like $50. If you want to like budget and you want to save yourself money so that your project's not costing that much and your dollar goes as far as it can, then do your research, look around. You will save yourself a lot of money. Your time is free, so it really depends how much time you want to put in. If you want to be doing something else, then by all means, spend the money. Like it says, convenience costs. So there you go, a quick little video on how you can save money doing a restoration or customization on your vehicle. Don't forget, your time is free. How you choose to use it is up to you. Now, if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you like the channel, please subscribe. And if you know anyone that would appreciate it, please share it around. Now for the next 20 seconds, whilst the banners come up on this side, I shall pose. And see you next time.